It was only a few years ago that the events in Libya unfolded on the world stage as we saw the fall of the Libyan dictator Gaddafi and the rise of a democratic state in the country of Libya. However, unbeknownst to the world, utter turmoil basically took control of the country, and it was divided as militia took control of the arms of Gaddafi's arms of the Libyan army and took control of that. And the country was basically at war in deciding exactly who is going to be running it. And as a result, numerous embassies from various countries pulled out of the country, with the exception of the United States. The U.S. had an embassy, as well as an unknown CIA base still in country, or stationed within that country, and it was still active. And at the time, in 2012, a U.S. ambassador was staying there, along with his security and other personnel, and also at the secret CIA base, there were still numerous operatives there conducting their work, and the base commander, and the security was provided by six independent contractors, I guess you would call them, and former military who were basically assigned there to protect them. Now, events unfold in 2012 where the U.S. Embassy was overtaken by an armed militia, and as a result, numerous lives, including that of a U.S. ambassador, were lost. There probably weren't too many details at the time available at the time of the incident, and until now has all the events been basically realized and talked about in public. The film is based on a novel, and Michael Bay, along with the help of Chuck Hogan, has basically crafted probably what could easily be his best film. Yeah, I did just say that. It could easily be Michael Bay's best film. Now, for me, The Rock, of course, is my favorite Michael Bay film. But if you stop to look back on his filmography and you just look at the films that he's made, it's dominated by popcorn films. A lot of films that really aren't dependent on story or acting. It's mostly all just about the over-the-top action that he's become known for. His rapid-fire editing or MTV style of editing that he's become known for. And we've rarely ever seen any serious flourishes of drama presented in any of his films. I mean, you could look at Pearl Harbor and say that was his one attempt to actually make a legitimate drama, but that one, unfortunately, does have its fair share of Michael Bay-isms, and it really turned out to be a very contrived, insultingly popcorn piece film about a major event in U.S. and world history. There was just too much cheese in that movie, and it derailed quite a bit and didn't provide what everyone was expecting from a film about that kind of subject matter. Maybe even The Island was probably his last best effort, which was a fun film, but again, it wasn't really a clear-cut drama. Unfortunately, I cannot discuss Pain and Gain because I have not seen that one yet. But in terms of 13 Hours, The Secret Soldiers of Benghazi, the film clearly benefits from Michael Bay himself. Everything that we know about Michael Bay, his style, his directing style, and how he maintains his shots, plays perfectly in presenting the events that the film 13 Hours covers. 13 Hours unfolds almost like a real-time documentary about the events that occurred in those intense hours as these people waited to be rescued from war-torn Benghazi. The surprising thing about this film, not just about the fact that it's a Michael Bay film, but and the acting, is that the film is not political at all and totally lacks the cheese that often comes with a Michael Bay film. It's almost quite straightforward and quite non-political, surprisingly. I totally expected in this film to have some sort of cutaway addressing the senators here or the President of the United States there or any other like news media comments and like talking about events like this and what's led up to it. But Bay completely stays out of that and purely focuses on the events that occur within Benghazi. There are maybe like a few moments where we cut to other bases or back to Washington just to see where they're at and trying to figure out what to do next in regard to the situation in Benghazi. But once that information is given, he moves back to the main story about how these 6 soldiers and the other people are working to survive this confusing and terrifying incident. I say confusing and terrifying because they don't know the soldiers, even though there is a faction within Libya that is fighting against these militants, and they don't really know who they are. And they really got to go on their gut instinct to discover just who these people are. I mean, the obvious security would be like the police escorts, but they bail out at a moment's notice when there's something wrong. And it's a real struggle and fear in who to trust. And as the film unfolds, the attacks that these guys have to defend against get progressively worse, and the intensity of them just rises as the film goes to the point where you're on the edge of your seat in the final hours, thinking as you start getting I got a bad feeling about this. And the film unfolds in that fashion where just at the beginning you're like, yeah, this is good. But as it progresses, it gets worse and worse, and you're like thinking these guys are in the real shit right now. And this is probably as close to any real documentation of just what it was like to actually have been there. The acting is good, and interestingly enough, the biggest star in the film is John Krasinski, who's best known for comedy roles, and he's actually the straight man in this movie, and he's actually quite good. The film also features James Badge Dale, Pablo Schreiber, David Denman, Dominic Formosa, and Max Martini as the Hero 6. And Bay manages to present a pretty strong ensemble for a squad. Usually I hold the barometer as aliens and what Cameron pulled off in presenting a platoon or squad and how their chemistry and dynamic is together. And we probably haven't seen anything that strong until, like, say, The Hurt Locker or something like that. But 13 hours, a Michael Bay film, I would have to give 4 stars out of 5. It's a strongly directed, again, I would say probably the best film Michael Bay has made, and probably his best film, but still my favorite is The Rock. But I do recognize this is actually like his best made film, most competently made, straightforward, dramatic action film that he's ever done. It's got strong characters, an engaging story. It gets quite suspenseful towards the end, and it's a interesting piece of history and non-politicized presentation of the events in Benghazi. So, 13 hours, The Secret Soldiers of Benghazi. 4 stars out of 5 from me. So if you like this review, hit that like button below. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please do so you can stay on top of my reviews as they come in. And when you have the opportunity, do check out ErnieTrinidad.com, where I do have additional reviews there posted as well. So, until next time, we'll see you at the movies.